Well, hi guys, I'm John Retland. This is my review of NWA Powerrr episode 13, titled Who's the Third Man? Let's find out. Though if you've already watched the show, you already know and you just want to hear what my thoughts are. But thank you guys so much, by the way, for the great amount of feedback on the reviews, NWA reviews, and any other reviews that I do. So thank you guys very much for that. So we start off with recaps of Tim Storm and Nick Aldous. They are angling for another match to happen at the Crockett Cup, aren't they? This is a bit of a slow burn. I know Tim Storm technically can't get another shot at the 10 pounds of gold, but I think it's obvious. They're going to find a way to work that in. They're going to have it happen at the Crockett Cup, and who knows, maybe Tim Storm will finally win it. Or they're just going to have Nick Aldis face a various amount of people. There are a lot of ways they could actually go with this, but we start off with Tim Storm, Joe Galli doing the interview duties this week, and Tim Storm, if he isn't the best pure babyface going in wrestling today, I don't know who is. Honestly, Tim Storm is absolutely terrific. He talks about the NWA TV title tourney, how there are going to be 2 open spots, and some free agents could be coming in, or they could be working with other companies. Who the hell knows? Really, Tim Storm, just the amount of fire that he has, he let the crowd get into it, and he got the crowd into it. He really is just somebody you can gravitate towards and say, my God, this is a guy I could really get behind because he is real. Sure, he's in his early 50s, but my God, you can tell he's passionate about wrestling, he's passionate about life, and he just comes across as so goddamn real, and it's so refreshing. He does, let the crowd get out of their system and talking about Nick Aldis being a coward for not wanting to face him last week. And let's be perfectly honest, it's just another way to build that whole thing that I just referenced about a minute ago, whether I think we are going to get that match, because the more they hint at it, I just really think that's where we're going. And this is good stuff. It's a great interview by Tim Storm, and then suddenly Camille shows up, who's nearly as tall as Tim Storm. Maybe that's because of the heels. No, probably because Camille's just legit that tall. She thinks she's like 5'10". I mean, 5'10", 5'11". She's really tall. Just holding the mic up like this and everything. She's not saying anything, wanting to get Tim Storm to react. And then Tim Storm says, well, why don't you, why don't you go, talk to Nick Aldis? Or why don't I ask you, why is he such a coward? She slaps him. Bold. Tim Storm's fired up. He won't hit a woman. Credit to him. But boy, that was some good stuff. That was a nice old school way of building up all the stuff. And then we get Trevor Murdoch and the Dawsons out there, and Anastasia Fletcher. She pulls out the names for the TV title tournament, the qualifiers, and it's the Dawsons versus each other next week, which leaves 2 names. It's Trevor Murdoch and Thomas Latimer. So, okay, cool. All right, good. We got these locked in, everything. And by the way, they advertised a couple times during this review, or during the show, by the way, and I'm going to plug it here in my review, that the Hard Times pay-per-view that takes place on January 24th. If you pre-order it by, I think, January 10th, the end of January 10th, on Fight TV, you get a discount. Great. I encourage you guys to check that out. And I will be ordering that pay-per-view and then watching it on demand a little bit later, only because I have a couple other things I have to review, because I review multiple promotions. You guys know if you watch the channel. But anyway, let's get back to this. Hard Times is looking like a pretty damn solid show. They're really hyping the fuck out of it, and it's good. I'm glad to see the NWA is cutting, or putting out more pay-per-views and everything. Maybe don't put out 12 a year, but put out, one every couple months and stuff like that, 2 to tie together, and then do the Crockett Cup in April. I'm really excited to see where this brand goes. So, we have Outlandish Zicky Dice versus Caleb Conley, and this is good. It was a TV title tournament match. Really good stuff. Really enjoyed this. Zicky was very, very heelish. And, being like, all outlandish like he always is and everything. And, just being cocky. Like, I could beat this guy anytime. Well, Caleb did pretty well. Eventually, he did hit a springboard moonsault. And then the snake rattle and roll, 1, 2, 3. So Zicky Dice advances to, I believe, the finals at the pay-per-view. Okay, cool. All right. Good way to do it. It's either finals or semifinals. Sometimes it's a little bit hard to hear the commentary just because even though they do post-production, sometimes it's a little bit difficult to hear. But bottom line is he advances, and then Joe Galli interviews Shooter Stevens and the question mark, all karate all the time. He talks belts and wanting to find the right opponent to face him for his 3rd degree NWA National Championship. And then Allison Kay joins commentary for this next match. It's Thunder Rosa versus ODB. Of course, you guys know I'm going to have the Thunder Rosa t-shirt anytime she is on TV. I do love Thunder Rosa. I think she's great. I hope that she comes back to one of the promotions that I frequent, one of the indie promotions that I frequent here in Washington. But really, she is awesome. So happy to see the amount of success she's having. And she taking on ODB here. A lot of experience with ODB. I mean, Thunder Rosa is, young as she is, has quite a bit of experience as well. And this is a nice way to just mesh speed and power. And ODB with her experience and her power. Thunder Rosa being more of a heel and just hitting some really, really good speed with some quick strikes. It was a slugfest at times. This actually was a really good women's match. Not that I expected anything less, but they gave us a lot of time for for the NWA Powerrr product. Like sometimes these are shorter matches. They packed a lot in without feeling like they rushed it, and that was really, really nice. Because both these women can still go. ODB with all the years, and Thunder Rosa being clearly in her prime right now. This was just really, really good and a nice way to give Thunder Rosa a quality win. She eventually did hit the top rope stomp for a 3, and then was getting in Allison K's face. I mean, from the ring, but it was like they were maybe 10, 15 feet away. And we're eventually going to get that match. I don't think we're getting it at the pay-per-view. I think we're going to get it at the Crockett Cup. It's not that Hard Times isn't a pay-per-view you shouldn't care about, but it's like unless they suddenly put either a February pay-per-view or a March pay-per-view out, or if they have the Crockett Cup in March, it's going to be in April, and I'm really excited for that. But I think Thunder Rosa could be the one to take it from Allison K, meaning it'll probably be Melina. And then maybe Thunder Rosa can take it from her. She needs to be the NWA Women's Champion. They got a real big star in her. And then we have the Rock and Roll Express hotline ad. I don't know what this was, but whatever. It was entertaining. At least they were having fun. And then we have Joe Galli interviewing Nick Aldous and so many boos. Coward chants. Fucking hell. The crowd was goddamn awesome during this. They were really, really good. He does run down Tim Storm. And the Rock and Roll Express, mainly Ricky Morton, calling them all dinosaurs and everything and stuff like that. And he references them again in another interview talking about dinosaurs. Which is going to kind of lead me to the point at the end of this review here. And then says he's going to have an exhibition match against Ricky Starks. Mentions the whole thing about not wanting to face Tim Storm in the TV title tournament. Having Royce Isaacs sub in for him, and then Royce lost, so Tim Storm advanced. But says, I can beat Ricky Starks in 6 minutes and 5 seconds. The only time I don't go 6 minutes and 5 seconds is in the bedroom. Classic line. Great stuff by Nick Aldous. And we get Ricky Starks versus Nick Aldous. Really good match. Really, really enjoyable. Love Ricky Starks. Aldous is a consummate world champion. Really, really great. Great as face, great as a heel. Doesn't really matter. Aldous does get cocky. Even after hitting some good moves and everything, Starks does hit some good stuff. Does hit a dive to the outside. Really hit goddamn hard. But then, soon after, the Kingsman Cloverleaf gets locked on. But Starks won't tap out, he won't tap out, he won't tap out, and the time runs out and everything, so it's a draw. Aldous thinks he won. Oh, he didn't win. No. That happens. And then Ricky Morton comes out and says, hey, wait a second, why don't you give him 5 more minutes? Aldous is like, no. Well, you won't give him 5 minutes. Why don't you give me 5 minutes? And he's like, no. I guess Ricky Morton's a matchmaker now all of a sudden. I mean, whatever. It was cool. It was good stuff. It was nice, good old throwback and everything. And Aldous just playing full-on dick heel. Really, really good stuff. And then James Storm and Eli Drake versus Ken Anderson and Colt Cabana was supposed to have the wild card here. They were not there. They did not. They were pulled by Nick Aldis. And it was a match where Anderson was more heelish, and that ended up costing them, where James Storm was down on the ground, and it was 2-on-1. And Anderson was upset when the referee did not count, the Superman pin quick enough because he was checking on James Storm outside. And Anderson gets in the ref's face and kind of grabs his shirt and gets a DQ. And Colt Cabana's upset. And what the hell are you doing? Da-da-da-da-da. Didn't say it like that. That would have been kind of funny if he said that. But okay, it's like that happened. We were supposed to be done. Nope, here's strictly business. Nick Aldis' group, by the way, if you don't know. And Aldous invites the rock and roll. He talks about dinosaur, then invites the rock and roll out and everything, and says, hey, how about this? Let's do Team Morton versus Team Aldous. And we're not going to be in the match, but you pick 3 guys, I'll pick 3 guys. And if your team wins, you get a shot at the 10 pounds of gold. Or Sweet Charlotte, I believe, is what Aldous referred to it as. Great, cool. Okay, so we're going to have Ricky Morton. Ricky Morton and Aldous are not going to be part of this. The wild card are going to be part of Aldous' team. Robert Gibson's going to be part of that, and a couple other guys. I'm not exactly sure who. We'll find. Maybe Homicide in Kingston. That's my guess. But who's going to be the 3rd man of Team Aldous? It's Scott Steiner. Okay, look, I love Scott Steiner. I really do. He has a rich history with, later NWA, early WCW and everything. And a lot of promotions. And he's wrestled recently in Impact, and he's done a lot of stuff. I love Scott Steiner. I love the fact he's told WWE to piss off Triple H and all that. That's great. He talks about the Rock and Roll Express being dinosaurs. He talks about Tim Storm being a dinosaur. Tim Storm is 5 years younger than Scott Steiner, and the Rock and Roll Express aren't much older than Scott Steiner is. Don't get me wrong, I love Scott Steiner. I just find that a little bit funny. I mean, and we have Scott Steiner in the wild card versus Team Morton. Is it next week or is it at the pay-per-view? I don't know if they actually announced it was going to happen at the pay-per-view or not. They have a couple more weeks of TV. They only have 2 more weeks of TV until the pay-per-view, actually. So, interesting. Anyway, no, that was it. It was a solid show. It was really good. And maybe pull up there. If not, please make sure that you leave your grade in the comments. I enjoyed it. I just hope that this isn't going to be something super long-term. I'm not saying people need to be put out to pasture, but if you're going to call 260, 61-year-old guys old, or you're going to call Tim Storm old, well, what are you going to say about Scott Steiner? Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.